Hi, guys. Welcome back to Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks with Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Andy Stevens.
And we are super excited to have you today. We are talking about pay to play. Pay to play. I throw this around so much because it's like one of the most significant topics out there right now, and nobody really is talking about it. Everybody's asking, how do I do things for free? How do I do this? How do I do this? Dude, you're in a pay to play environment right now. We're going to talk about what that means and how that affects you and ways around it and ways to deal with it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, what is pay to play?
It's when you are paying for visibility. It's paying to get your book in front of readers' eyes.
Yep, exactly. Now, if you have a newsletter subscriber, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, that's your audience. Mm-hmm. So you're not necessarily paying. But if you're running ads or you're running promotions or you're doing a newsletter swap, you are literally renting someone else's audience. So you need to pay for that. And having this expectation of, mm-hmm. oh, it's Facebook, they should let me do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. No, you're renting there. You're literally staying there. You need to play by their rules. Mm-hmm. So who does this affect in our industry? Yeah. Who does this affect in our industry? We're in the author industry. We're talking about authors right now. Who does this affect? I put it in my notes, everyone and their dog. Everyone and their dog. This affects everybody right now. You have a book about a dog, your dog's paying the rent right now. Like, it's seriously a thing. So if you're like, oh, I can do this without having to pay for anything. I'm finding that there are more and more people saying, oh, I don't pay for ads. And then you see their ads running. Or they're like, oh, I just do TikTok, so I'm not paying for anything. But you are paying for something. You're doing images, you're doing video creation, you're paying with your time. You literally are, you're paying somehow to play the game. And that's literally what this is, right? Like, you're paying to play. I remember when I first started, it was in 2008. It's published by Karina when it was owned by Harlequin. And they were explaining to me my marketing role. And I was like, wow, that sounds so easy, because it wasn't a lot. There wasn't as much you could do. So I remember that it was like, man, this is easy. But then as we started to get into this whole ads mentality of AMS ads, Facebook ads, Dawson's courses, all the things, right? Like, and then more and more people started to market that way. And now that became the default, and it's no longer the free stuff. BookBub in 2000, I want to say 2014 was when that one really hit. 2014.
Yeah.
I got a BookBub in just November that year, and I made a ton of money. And it wasn't very much money. It was like $200 that I spent on it, and I made like $37,000 that month. And so it was like, it wasn't as high of a pay to play. And the further we get into this game, the more everyone has to pay in some way. Your three resources, your three budgets that you have, right? Finances, or your money, time, and your resources. You're spending something to play this game. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how can you keep it cheap? Well, there's some ways that you can do it. You can hire people, right? You can hire people to do the work for you. That cleans up your time, right? Ad management, Mandy and I do that. You have social media VAs. You have form editors, video creators. Like, there's all different kinds of things that you can do for that aspect to save your time. Mm-hmm. But some other things that you can do to make it cheap would be to have.
So if you have a strong newsletter, and then you own your own audience.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to pay to build that audience, but it's still yours in the end. Nobody can take that from you.
Right, exactly. And the minuscule cost of a newsletter on a newsletter platform really is a good investment. It's like paying rent on a house, right? Instead of paying rent to a store. If you have well-targeted ads, it'll help keep your CPC down and your conversion up. Another thing is great networking can be useful. That's with promos inside indie groups. We have a free indie group that a Facebook group that you can join, network with other people, figure out some great marketing ideas. That's what we're doing in there. We're literally marketing and talking marketing to each other. We're not spamming each other. We're talking about possible promos and ways that we're marketing. Another thing that what Mandy talks about a lot, she's an expert in this.
So social media and engagement with your readers, the more active your Facebook page is, the lower your CPC will be.
Yes, exactly. And you also are getting in front of people. When you have the engagement, Mandy's always yelling at me, make sure your stuff's engaging because it'll show more on the algorithms. And I'm like, I hate social media, but it's a free way to stay in front of my readers that are trying to find me there.
And you're sharing your newsletter links, and you're sharing links to your books and
all the things. Like that. Yeah, you're literally sharing
all the things all the time.
All the things all the times. If you're playing and you're paying, let's talk some resources. The reason why this is so important is a lot of people don't know what some of these are, and that's okay. Maybe we'll do some videos on what these are later, but right now what we really want to talk about is just your options. Here are just a few options. This is not all inclusive, nor is it exclusive. These are some options just off the top of our head. There's a ton more after. We've got newsletter promos.
Newsletter swaps.
Got
we
Facebook.
Already talked about the Facebook pages.
Yep, and
Facebook groups too. Yeah.
Got TikTok and Instagram.
Blogs, but only if you're focusing on readers and not targeting other authors. That is a huge pet peeve of
I know.
You're trying to sell your own books and then you're talking anyway.
Yeah, you're talking to the authors about the author world.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Talk about your books.
Yeah.
Ads,
PR companies.
Good ones.
Kickstarters are huge right now.
Patreon is good too. I think though with Kickstarters and Patreon, here's something to keep in mind. If you're doing those, you still have to promote them.
Yes.
So how are you getting them to the landing page? And that's ultimately what paying to play is. You need to get your reader or your new audience from here to here. And how are you doing that? So Kickstarters and Patreons, like Mandy said, they're great. They're huge. People love doing them. But you still have to figure out how you're getting them from A to B. There's some other options that we have, like the YouTube channels. Those are great.
Yep.
You can put your audiobooks up there, snippets, samples, just like YouTube. And if you saw our video on repurposing, if not, go check it out. I'll put the link right here. But make sure that you are checking out how to reuse your assets, because that'll save you time and money as well, which actually cuts down on your costs in the whole pay-to-play game. Okay, so guys, make sure you have a goal with whatever you're doing.
Make sure you're sticking to your brand.
Make sure you're having fun. That's literally what it's all about. Okay, so share. I hope this helped. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with a friend, because it's always fun to find success with others. And let's see you in the Facebook group. We would love to talk to you more. And good luck out there. It's a pay-to-play world.